The night on Oriona 3 was colder than anyone could remember. Snow fell in gentle silver flakes, drifting slowly from the dark sky and covering the little human settlement in a thick, glimmering blanket. Each house looked like it was made of sugar, soft and fragile under the weight of the snow. Inside one small home, 6-year-old Mia sat under her blue blanket, hugging it tightly around her tiny shoulders. The blanket was soft, worn from years of use, and carried the scent of her mother. She loved it more than anything. Tonight, it was her only comfort against the freezing wind that rattled the window panes. Mia stared out the window, her big brown eyes reflecting the pale light of the moons above. The world outside seemed empty and silent, yet something about the night made her heart pound faster. She could hear the occasional howl of the wind, the faint creak of the wooden beams in her house, and the soft crunch of snow under her father's boots as he checked the perimeter earlier. She thought she was alone, cozy in her room, safe under her blanket, until a tiny, unusual sound reached her ears. At first she thought it was the wind, but the sound was different. Soft, weak, and almost like a whimper. Mia tilted her head, listening carefully. The noise came again, a shivering cry so small it could have been ignored, but something in it tugged at her heart. She felt a strange pull, a need to see where it was coming from. With a determined little sigh, she set down her blanket and tiptoed across the room. The floor was icy beneath her bare feet, but she didn't care. Curiosity and concern were stronger than the cold. She opened the window slowly and peeked outside. Snow swirled around her, biting at her cheeks, but her eyes were fixed on a small shape lying in the snow. It was tiny, no bigger than a cat, but it looked fragile, trembling with each gust of wind. Its skin shimmered faintly, like the soft glow of a firefly, and its large, round eyes seemed to glow in the night. Mia had never seen anything like it before. Her heart skipped a beat. She wanted to run to her parents for help, but the fear in the creature's eyes stopped her. It was too small, too cold, and clearly alone. She knew she couldn't leave it out there. Her parents might be asleep, and the night was dangerous, but she couldn't ignore it. Mia's chest tightened with a mix of fear and determination. Without thinking further, she grabbed her beloved blue blanket, wrapping it around herself like armor, and climbed out the window carefully. Snow hit her face, sticking to her hair and eyelashes, but she didn't mind. She ran toward the tiny figure, her small boots leaving shallow prints in the snow. The creature lifted its head weakly and made another soft noise, a sound that made Mia's heart ache. She knelt beside it and gently draped her blanket around its shivering body. It was lighter than she expected, fragile like a bird, and it pressed its small glowing hands against her chest as if seeking warmth. "Don't be scared," Mia whispered, her voice trembling. "I'll keep you safe." The alien baby's eyes widened, and a small chirping sound came from its throat. Mia didn't know what it meant, but it sounded almost like gratitude. She felt a strange connection, a warmth spreading through her chest that had nothing to do with the blanket or the cold. It was a feeling she had never felt before. A bond, forming in the middle of the snowy night between a little human girl and a tiny alien stranger. The snow kept falling, the wind howled, and the stars twinkled coldly above, but in that moment nothing else mattered. Mia held the creature close, determined to protect it. She didn't know what it was, where it came from, or what might happen next. All she knew was that it needed her, and she couldn't leave it behind in the freezing night. Mia's small hands shook as she carried the tiny alien through the snow toward her home. The wind whipped against her face, biting at her cheeks, but she ignored it. The little creature's body was so cold, so fragile, that she felt its tiny bones shiver beneath the blanket. Each step felt heavier, but she refused to stop. She whispered softly to it, hoping to offer comfort. "It's okay. I've got you." "You'll be warm soon," she said, her voice small but determined. The alien's large eyes looked up at her, shimmering faintly, and it made a soft, chirping sound, almost like a weak laugh. Mia's heart melted. She had never felt so responsible, so protective. When she reached the door of her house, she realized that opening it quietly would be tricky. Her parents were sleeping, and she didn't want to wake them, not yet. But the creature's tiny whimpers grew more urgent with every passing moment. Mia took a deep breath, then pushed the door open just enough to slip inside. The warmth of the house hit her immediately, and she felt the icy numbness in her fingers begin to fade. She carried the alien to the living room and gently placed it on a chair near the heater. Its small body still trembled, but the blanket she had wrapped around it helped a little. Mia knelt beside it and stroked its soft, glowing skin. The creature seemed to relax, pressing its head lightly against her shoulder. "Don't be scared. You're safe now," Mia whispered again. The alien made a small, cooing noise, and for a moment, the two of them sat in silence, connected by warmth and trust. Mia looked at the shimmering skin and glowing eyes and realized that this little being was completely alone. Her small heart swelled with empathy. Just then a noise came from upstairs. Footsteps. Mia's father appeared at the top of the stairs, rubbing his eyes. "Mia, what are you doing down here?" he asked, his voice a mix of concern and sleepiness. He stopped when he saw the alien wrapped in the blanket, shivering on the chair. Mia's voice trembled, but she didn't hesitate. "Daddy, I found it outside in the snow. It was so cold. I had to bring it in. Please don't be mad. I just wanted to help." Her father's eyes widened and he stepped closer, studying the small creature. Instead of fear, there was surprise in his face. The alien's eyes followed his every movement, and its tiny hands twitched slightly. Mia noticed that despite the unfamiliar form and strange appearance, it looked harmless, almost fragile. Her father knelt beside her and put a hand on her shoulder. "Mia, you're very brave," he said softly, "and very kind. But we need to be careful. We don't know what it is or where it came from." Mia nodded quickly. "I know, but it's just a baby. It's cold and it needs help. That's all." Her voice was small but full of conviction. The alien made another soft chirp, almost like it understood her words. Mia's heart soared. She realized then that kindness could cross any boundary, even between humans and aliens. She didn't care if the creature was different, strange, or unknown. All that mattered was keeping it safe and warm. Her father sighed but smiled faintly. "All right, Mia. We'll take care of it together. But we need to be smart about this." Mia's eyes sparkled. For the first time, she felt hope. She had acted on instinct, on compassion, and she had succeeded. The alien baby, fragile and alone, had found warmth in her small hands, and in that moment she felt something incredible. A connection, a promise that no matter what happened, she would protect it with everything she had. Outside, the snow continued to fall, cold and relentless. But inside, a small blue blanket wrapped a tiny alien baby and a brave little girl in a warmth stronger than any winter storm. The next morning, sunlight filtered weakly through the thick clouds, turning the snow outside into a sparkling sea of white. Inside the little house, Mia sat cross-legged on the living room floor, gently stroking the tiny alien. Its soft, glowing skin pulsed faintly under her touch, and it chirped happily, curling against the warmth of her blanket. Mia's parents had already woken up. Her mother entered the room, rubbing her eyes and yawning. "Mia? What's going on here?" she asked, stopping mid-step as her gaze fell on the small creature. Mia's heart thumped loudly in her chest, but she didn't hesitate. "Mom, I found it outside in the snow. It was freezing. I had to bring it in. Please, look, it's so small and it's just a baby." Her mother froze, staring in disbelief at the little alien. Its large, luminous eyes blinked up at her, and for a moment, she saw innocence, vulnerability, and trust. She looked at Mia and saw determination, bravery, and a heart full of compassion. Her father entered, still rubbing the sleep from his eyes. "Mia, what is that?" he asked, his voice a mixture of confusion and amazement. He knelt down to look closer at the tiny being. It didn't move aggressively or make any threatening sounds. It simply looked at him with wide, trusting eyes, small hands curled softly under the blanket. "It's cold," Mia whispered. "It needs help, that's all. I don't think it's dangerous." Her father exchanged a glance with her mother. Fear lingered in their eyes. They had been warned about strange creatures on Oriona 3. Most were hostile, some even deadly. But this little alien, it didn't seem threatening. It was fragile, almost human in its need for warmth and care. "Let's be careful," her mother said, her voice gentle but cautious. "We don't know where it came from or if it has any powers, but it's alive, and it's small. And Mia, you were brave to bring it in." Mia's chest swelled with pride. She smiled and reached out to the tiny alien, who chirped softly in response. It pressed its glowing face against her hand, and she felt warmth spreading through her heart. This was more than a creature. It was a friend, a life she had saved, a bond that felt unbreakable. Just then a knock came at the door. Her father frowned. "Who could that be?" he muttered, heading to the door. When he opened, a few neighbors had gathered, their expressions a mix of curiosity and fear. Whispers filled the air. "Is that a human child holding an alien?" one neighbor asked. "It looks like it," another muttered, eyes wide. What is that thing?" Mia's father stepped forward, motioning for them to stay back. "It's just a baby," he said firmly. "It was outside in the snow. My daughter brought it in to keep it warm." The neighbors gasped. Many had never seen this species before, and none had imagined a human child could act with such fearlessness. They expected screams, attacks, maybe even chaos, but instead, they saw a 6-year-old girl comforting a small, fragile alien. Compassion, bravery, innocence. Some neighbors shook their heads in disbelief. "A child saved a life," one whispered. "A human child saved an alien?" Mia watched quietly as adults murmured and stared, some in awe, some in skepticism. She didn't fully understand why they were so shocked. To her it was simple. If someone is cold, you give them warmth. If someone is hurt, you help them. No one should be left alone in the snow. The alien chirped again, looking around the room at the humans. Its small hands reached toward Mia and she held it close, wrapping the blue blanket tighter around its tiny body. It was a silent message, trust and safety and friendship. Her father sighed, relief washing over him. "Well, it seems your kindness has worked wonders," he said. "We'll figure out what to do next, but for now it's alive because of you, Mia." Mia's small heart beat quickly. She felt a glow of pride and joy, but also a deep sense of responsibility. This little being depended on her and she would protect it no matter what. Outside, the snow continued to fall, covering the world in white, but inside, warmth, bravery, and love shone brighter than any winter storm. By mid-morning, word had spread through the small settlement like wildfire. Whispers and murmurs traveled from house to house. "Did you hear? A human child saved an alien baby," some said. Others shook their heads in disbelief. Many had never seen an alien so small, so fragile and glowing with soft, shimmering light. The news drew a small crowd to Mia's home, their curiosity mixed with fear, awe, and excitement. Mia sat on the living room floor, cradling the tiny alien in her arms. Its soft chirping filled the room like music. and the blue blanket wrapped around it made the creature seem even smaller, more delicate. It looked up at her with trusting eyes, and she smiled. To Mia, this was simple. The baby had been cold and alone, and she had given it warmth. Nothing more, nothing less. Her parents stood nearby, watching nervously as neighbors pressed closer to the doorway. Many of them had weapons, small defensive tools, or shields. They were prepared for danger, as most humans on Oriana 3 were when encountering alien species. But what they saw shocked them. The alien did not hiss, attack, or make threatening sounds. It simply sat in Mia's lap, blinking slowly and chirping softly, as if communicating in the only way it could. A woman from across the street gasped. It's alive, but it's just like a baby," she whispered. Another neighbor nodded. And a human child. She brought it inside, protected it. Why? Why would she do that? Her father stepped forward, speaking firmly to calm the crowd. "Everyone, please. There is no danger. This is a baby." It was outside in the snow, alone and freezing. Mia brought it in to keep it safe. That's all. Some neighbors relaxed slightly, but many could not hide their amazement. A few scientists and authorities arrived. Alerted by the unusual situation, they had expected aggression, unpredictability, maybe even hostility. Instead, they found an alien baby sitting calmly in the arms of a 6-year-old girl, wrapped in a blue blanket, glowing softly and chirping happily. The lead scientist, a tall man with a serious face, knelt to observe. "Fascinating," he muttered. "It's responding to human touch and emotional comfort. Not fear or aggression. Incredible." Mia looked up at him shyly. "It's cold," she said simply. "It just needed warmth. That's all." Her voice was small, but it carried something far stronger than words. Honesty, kindness, and courage. The scientist looked surprised. She understands," he whispered to his assistant. "No protocols, no technology, just pure compassion. It's extraordinary." The neighbors, too, began to realize something important. Fear had always kept them distant from aliens. They had built barriers, rules, and walls to protect themselves. But here was a child who had done what no adult dared. She had crossed those walls without hesitation, guided only by empathy and love. Some whispered to each other, shaking their heads in disbelief. "A 6-year-old taught us something today," one muttered. "Humans, they can be braver than we thought." The alien baby chirped again, looking up at Mia as if to agree. Its soft glow brightened, almost in response to her warmth and touch. Mia smiled and gently stroked its tiny head. "See? You're safe now," she whispered. Her parents exchanged proud, amazed looks. They realized that their daughter had done more than rescue a life. She had reminded everyone of a truth humans often forgot. Compassion could reach beyond fear. Kindness could shine through darkness. And even the smallest human could inspire hope. Outside, the snow continued to fall. Silent and cold, but inside, warmth, courage, and empathy filled the room. The neighbors left with whispers of admiration and awe, forever changed by the bravery of a little girl and her glowing, fragile friend. And for Mia, it was simple. She had given what she had, warmth, safety, and love. And in return, she had shown the galaxy something extraordinary. Humanity's heart, even in its youngest form, could shine brighter than fear itself. Days passed, and the tiny alien whom Mia had named Lumo began to settle into her home. Its soft glow grew brighter each day, and it chirped and cooed in ways that made Mia smile. Every morning she would rush to see if Lumo was awake, gently wrapping it in her blue blanket and whispering to it. "Good morning, Lumo. Did you sleep well?" The alien chirped softly in response, curling into her arms as if it understood every word. Her parents watched in awe. They had initially been cautious, worried about the unknown. But as they saw Mia care for Lumo with such innocence and tenderness, their fears began to fade. There was something extraordinary about the bond forming between their daughter and the alien. It was quiet, simple, and yet powerful. A connection that went beyond language or species. Mia spent hours teaching Lumo small things. She showed it how to play with toys, how to stack blocks, and how to laugh. Lumo tried to mimic her, blinking its glowing eyes and making chirping noises that sounded like giggles. Sometimes it even copied her expressions, tilting its tiny head and pressing its hands against its face in curiosity. Each time Mia's heart swelled with joy. She had never felt a love like this, pure, unselfish, and filled with wonder. But caring for Lumo was not always easy. There were moments when its glow dimmed suddenly and it shivered despite the blanket. Mia would hold it close, rocking it gently, whispering, "I'm here, Lumo. I won't let anything happen to you." The alien would snuggle against her, its warmth returning slowly like a fragile ember reigniting. The community continued to watch from a distance. Scientists came to study Lumo, expecting to find danger, aggression, or sickness. Instead, they found something no research could explain. A human child, 6 years old, had formed a bond that healed, comforted, and nurtured an alien life. Machines, chemicals, and advanced technology could not replicate what Mia's small hands and her simple acts of love had accomplished. Mia noticed the subtle ways Lumo began to respond to her emotions. When she was happy, its glow brightened. When she was sad, it chirped softly and pressed against her as if offering comfort. One afternoon, Mia sat near the window watching the snow fall outside. She felt a pang of sadness, missing her mother who had gone to town for supplies. Lumo's soft chirping seemed to echo her feelings, and it pressed its tiny glowing hands against hers. In that moment, Mia realized something incredible. They could understand each other without words. A human and an alien connected by empathy alone. Even her parents noticed the changes in Mia. She had become braver, more patient, and filled with a deep sense of responsibility. They knew she was learning lessons that no school or book could teach, lessons about compassion, trust, and courage. And in a world where fear often guided humans, a 6-year-old girl was proving that kindness could be stronger than anything else. But as peaceful as these days were, a shadow lingered. The authorities were still cautious, neighbors still curious, and no one knew where Lumo had come from or if more of its kind might appear. Mia, unaware of these worries, simply held Lumo close, her heart full of hope. In the evenings, when the snow had stopped and the sky was filled with stars, Mia would whisper stories to Lumo. Stories of human heroes, of adventures she imagined, of the warmth of family. Lumo would listen, chirp softly, and sometimes emit tiny sparks of light that danced across the room. It was their own language of trust, a secret bond that grew stronger with every passing day. Mia had saved Lumo from the cold, but now she realized something even greater. Lumo had saved her heart too. In those quiet, glowing moments, she understood that true connection could cross any boundary, and that love, no matter how small or young, had the power to change the world. A week had passed since Mia had found Lumo, and the little alien was thriving. Its glow pulsed warmly, its chirps were brighter, and it even tried to mimic some of Mia's words. Every day Mia felt more connected to it. She loved Lumo with a pure, unshakable love, and she knew, deep down, that nothing could break their bond. But one cold evening, as snow swirled outside and the wind rattled the windows, something changed. Lumo suddenly shivered violently, its soft chirps turning into distressed squeaks. Its glow dimmed sharply, flickering like a dying candle. Mia's heart leapt into her throat. She scooped it into her arms, wrapping the blue blanket tightly around it, whispering urgently, "Stay with me, Lumo. Don't leave me, please." Her parents rushed in, alarmed. "What's happening?" her mother cried, her voice trembling with fear. Mia didn't answer. She held Lumo close, feeling the small creature's body trembling against her chest. Its eyes, normally bright and trusting, looked scared and weak. The scientists who had been observing the baby carefully stepped forward. They were astonished. This is unusual," one muttered. "It's reacting to stress. But nothing physical should be harming it. Its life signs are dropping rapidly." Mia didn't understand the science or the medical terms, but she didn't need to. She only knew that her little friend was suffering and needed her. She whispered over and over, "I'm here, Lumo. You'll be okay. I won't let anything happen to you. You're safe with me." Slowly, almost miraculously, Lumo's glow began to return. It chirped faintly, pressing its tiny hands against Mia's chest. The warmth of her heart, her presence seemed to reach into the alien's fragile body, soothing it. It was as if Mia's love, pure and selfless, had healed something that no medicine or technology could touch. Her parents watched, stunned. They had seen brave acts before, but never anything like this. Their 6-year-old daughter was saving a life with her compassion alone. Mia's small hands, her gentle voice, and her unwavering care were the only medicine Lumo needed. But the challenge was not over. The authorities had arrived, alerted by the emergency signals from the scientists' equipment. Their expressions were a mix of concern and suspicion. "We can't be sure of this creature's health or abilities," one said firmly. "It could be dangerous." Mia stood between them and Lumo, holding the tiny alien tightly. "It's not dangerous. It's just a baby. It needs love, not fear." Her voice trembled, but there was strength in it. Even the authorities paused, realizing that the child's courage and trust were extraordinary. The alien, sensing the tension, clung to Mia more tightly. Its glow became brighter in response to her heartbeat, and it chirped as if to say, "I trust you. I'm okay because of you." Mia's eyes filled with tears. She realized that this bond, this simple, unexplainable connection, was stronger than fear, stronger than rules, stronger than anything else in the universe. Finally, the lead scientist stepped forward, lowering his voice so only Mia and her parents could hear. "It's responding. Not to medicine, not to devices. Only to her. Her care, her love. It's stabilizing it. This child has done what no one else could." Mia hugged Lumo tightly, feeling relief and pride surge through her. The little alien nestled into her arms, chirping softly, glowing steadily once more. Outside, the snow continued to fall, harsh and unrelenting, but inside the house, warmth and trust filled every corner. Mia knew that there would be more challenges ahead. She didn't know what dangers might come, or whether Lumo's species would find them, or how the world would react. But one thing was certain: nothing could break their bond. She had discovered a truth stronger than fear or rules. Love, courage, and compassion could overcome anything. And as she held Lumo close, whispering softly, she felt a quiet strength inside her. Together, they could face anything. The days turned into weeks, and Lumo grew stronger under Mia's care. Its glow pulsed warmly, and its chirps were filled with joy. The alien baby, once shivering and fragile, now explored the house, toddling clumsily on its tiny feet, reaching for toys, and following Mia wherever she went. The bond between them had become unbreakable, a quiet, glowing thread that connected two different worlds. The community had slowly accepted Lumo's presence. The neighbors who had once whispered in fear now watched with admiration. Scientists continued to study Lumo, but even they could not explain the miracle unfolding before them. Machines and technology had no power over the alien's health or happiness. It was Mia, her kindness, her warmth, her courage, that had saved Lumo and kept it alive. Mia's parents often watched from the doorway, pride shining in their eyes. "She's extraordinary," her father whispered to her mother one evening. Who would have thought a 6-year-old could teach the entire settlement what humanity truly means? Mia didn't think of herself as extraordinary. To her, caring for Lumo was simple. If someone was cold, you shared warmth. If someone was hurt, you helped them. And if someone was alone, you stayed by their side. She didn't realize that her simple acts were showing the galaxy something incredible: the power of human compassion. One evening, as the sun set behind the snowy hills, Mia and Lumo sat by the window. The sky glowed in shades of pink and orange, reflecting in Lumo's shimmering skin. Mia held the alien close, humming a soft tune her mother had taught her. Lumo chirped in response, tiny sparks of light dancing around its body. Her parents joined them quietly, not wanting to disturb the moment. Even the scientists lingered nearby, silent witnesses to something far greater than science, a lesson in love, bravery, and humanity. Suddenly the alien lifted its tiny hands and placed them on Mia's cheeks. Its glow brightened intensely, as if it were trying to communicate something. Mia looked into its eyes, feeling a wave of emotion she couldn't explain. She realized that Luma was not just alive because of her care. It was thriving because it felt loved. And in return it was showing gratitude in the only way it could, with trust, affection, and a glowing heart. The story of Mia and Lumo spread beyond the settlement, reaching distant colonies. Humans and aliens alike were inspired. People began to question their fears and prejudices. If a 6-year-old human could show courage, empathy, and compassion to an unknown alien life, what did that say about the potential of humanity? Could fear ever outweigh love? Could hostility ever triumph over care? The answer became clear. When humans act with pure hearts, their light can shine brighter than the darkness of the universe. Months passed, and Lumo grew stronger every day. Its glowing skin pulsed rhythmically, a sign of life, joy, and safety. Mia would tuck it into the blue blanket every night, whispering softly, "I'll always protect you, Lumo. You're never alone." And the alien would chirp, nestling against her, a tiny heartbeat of light in the darkness. Mia had saved a life, but the greatest gift came back to her. She had learned bravery, empathy, and the profound power of caring without fear. Lumo had opened her heart, and in return she had opened the hearts of everyone around her. Humanity, in its simplest, purest form, had shone through a little girl's kindness. And on Oriona 3, under the pale moons and falling snow, a small blue blanket wrapped a little alien and a 6-year-old human together. It was more than protection or warmth. It was proof. Proof that even in a vast, strange universe, humanity, brave, kind, and fearless, could make a difference. Mia looked down at Lumo, smiling. "See, you're home now," she whispered. And in that glow, in that trust, the galaxy witnessed a truth it would never forget. Sometimes the smallest humans can do the greatest heroic deeds.